Today I will read to you Psalm 23, but we will dwell on verse 4 for our exhortation for today. Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. Verse 2, He makes me lie down on green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. Verse 3, He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for His name's sake. And in verse 4, even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Charles Spurgeon, a famous preacher in 1800s, called Psalm 23 the pearl of the psalm, which delights every eye. And we agree with him because in Psalm 23, verse 1, it says, because the Lord is our shepherd, we lack nothing. He makes us lie down in green pastures beside quiet waters, and we like that. He refreshes our soul, and He guides us along the right path. And indeed, that is delightful to every eye of the reader. However, in verse 4, King David started talking about the darkest valley. So what happened here, King David? You were just talking about being the Lord our shepherd, we lack nothing. You talk about green pastures, which is God's provisions. You talk about quiet waters, which is peace. And God guiding us along the right path. How come in verse 4 you're talking about the darkest valley? What happened here, King David? What happened here is that King David understands that just as valleys are part of the natural landscape of the earth, valleys are also part of Christian life. In the Bible, valleys are often used as metaphors for different times, such as defeat, despair, or discouragement. Valleys are part of life. We either just came out of the valley, or we're in the middle of one right now, or we're headed into another one. Valleys are inevitable. Valleys happen to everybody. Nobody sails through life problem-free. Nobody's insulated from pain. All valleys are unpredictable. You can't plan them. You can time them. One moment you're in green pastures, the next minute you're in the darkest valley. And notice how King David goes through the darkest valley. He says, even though I walk through the darkest valley, he's walking. He's taking it all in. He's not running to get it over with as soon as possible. And that's what I do, and maybe some of you do too, that when we're in the darkest valley, we ask God to get us out of the valley because it is sad in the valley, and it's painful, and it's dark. Does it glorify God when you go to Him in prayer while you're in the darkest valley and ask Him, God, please get me out of here? Does it glorify God? Maybe, but how much more does it honor Him when we ask God to hold our hand and ask Him to hold my hand as I walk through the valley, and that will be enough to drive away all my fear. Let not your time in the valley be a wasted time. This is the time to talk to God instead of talking about God. Instead of asking questions like, why is this happening to me? Why me? Why now? Ask God the purpose of the valley. Learn the lessons that need to be learned in the midst of the difficult time. Walk through it and choose not to fear. God promises comfort in the darkest valley, not answers. And God's comfort is all we need while walking through our darkest valley. While I was still living in New York, this is the time when we go drive around to watch the trees, the leaves of the trees change color. It's so beautiful, changing color to yellow, some are orange, and red. So we just drive around. It's so amazing and beautiful to watch the work of God's hands. But there's nothing more beautiful to watch than a child of God living a life in perfect peace while walking in their darkest valley. Remember, brothers and sisters, our darkest valley is not the end of our journey. As Psalm 23 doesn't end in verse 4, it continues in verse 5 and 6, and it says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord for how long? Forever, forever and ever. Amen."